Fascism, in order to be successful as a political movement, must have a mass basis. It must secure not only the frightened submission, but the active cooperation of the great majority of the people. Since by its very nature it favors the few at the expense of the many, it cannot possibly demonstrate that it will so improve the situation of most people that their real interests will be served. It must therefore make its major appeal not to rational self-interest, but to emotional needs, often to the most primitive and irrational wishes and fears. If it be argued that fascist propaganda fools people into believing that their lot will be improved, then the question arises, why are they so easily fooled? Because it may be supposed of their personality structure, because of long established patterns of hopes and aspirations, fears and anxieties that dispose them to certain beliefs and make them resistant to others. The task of fascist propaganda, in other words, is rendered easier to the degree that anti-democratic potentials already exist in the great mass of people. It may be granted that in Germany economic conflicts and dislocations within the society were such that for this reason alone, the triumph of fascism was sooner or later inevitable. But the Nazi leaders did not act as if they believed this to be so. Instead, they acted as if it were necessary at every moment to take into account the psychology of the people, to activate every ounce of their anti-democratic potential, to compromise with them, to stamp out the slightest spark of rebellion. It seems apparent that any attempt to appraise the chances of a fascist triumph in America must reckon with the potential existing in the character of the people. Here lies not only the susceptibility of anti-democratic propaganda, but the most dependable sources of resistance to it. The present thinkers believe that it is up to the people to decide whether or not this country goes fascist. It is assumed that knowledge of the nature and extent of anti-democratic potentials will indicate programs for democratic action. These programs should not be limited to devices for manipulating people in such a way that they will behave more democratically, but they should be devoted to increasing the kind of self-awareness and self-determination that makes any kind of manipulation impossible.